What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and I'm going to do a reaction here to the to Daniel Jerimiah's mock draft. And the reason why I'm doing it to his because I think he's pretty good at what he does. So, and I think it'd be interesting to see. I haven't watched a ton. I've watched some mock drafts, and I've kind of fast forwarded through them, but I haven't really sat down and watched one yet to see the reasoning. And a really good reason why I want to do this one, because a lot of times they'll show like highlights and stuff, and I do want to show you what I'm talking about when I do my mock drafts. So hopefully they show highlights and I can kind of show you things that I'm seeing as far as why I'm higher on some players. Like example, I'm very high on Michael Williams. I think he's great getting off of blocks. Hopefully they show that. I don't know how this is going to go. It's a 47-minute format, so I'm guessing they're going to show very little highlights, but we'll see where he goes. I think he was a former like a GM for a team or a scout or something like that. So we'll see what he says. I'm curious to see where he goes on it on this final mock draft. But I do think that there's going to be some surprises. Like my last draft, I had I did the draft. I just posted that draft not too long ago, but I did that draft like 3 or 4 days before. So it's been like almost like a week since I've done the draft. But I had like I'm interested to see what he talks about Ashton Jeanty. I think the two spots he can really go into realistically are the Browns and the Jaguars. Those would be the two surprise teams. But a lot of people have him going to the Raiders. So I think Jeanty's an interesting one to watch. I think Jalen Walker's going to be an interesting one to see where he goes. It's going to be interesting to see Michael Williams, because I'm very high on Michael Williams, but a lot of people have him going lower. Shamir Stewart, I think he can be like the best player in the draft, but who knows where he's going to go on this one. But he could also be a fucking bust. I don't know if he will or not. I think the guy's just a really good football player. But honestly, with Shamir Stewart, the more I watch him, the more I'd be like, I'll try to just put 25 pounds on him and stick him as a defensive tackle. That's kind of where I think he would play awesome, because he's like an uncaged animal, that guy. If you watch him play, he plays like he's a pass rusher, but he plays like a defensive tackle, like a really aggressive, like a John Randall or something. That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of John Randall, but he's just in a different position because he weighs 265 pounds. I'd stick him in a fucking weight room and have him at 285 and throw him on the inside of a 43 defense. I think he'd be spectacular there. He'd be playing about what Aaron Donald played at. I think he'd be fucking awesome as a fucking 43 interior lineman. That's where I think he would shine. He'll never go there. It'll never happen. But anyway, let's see what he says. I'll shut the fuck up.
First pick in the draft.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I don't need to see all this bullshit. Okay, they're talking.
Final mock draft.
Yeah, so this is the first year that oh, never mind. I thought they were going to say something different. But this is the first year that every team has their first round pick.
Last year, taken in the first round. DJ.
Yeah.
Now let's royally screw it up this year. That's what we're going to try and
already
do.
did on my last mock draft. You're good.
Now we're going to talk about all the ones you got wrong. Just kidding. Let's go to the top of the draft. No surprises here. Cam Ward goes to the Titans.
Yeah, this is where I think
Daniel Jerimiah. Do I need to sit down and teach you football, bro? Yeah. Do I need to teach you football? Do I need to tell you that this guy doesn't fit on the Titans at all? Do I need to teach you some foosball? I'm going to tell you right now, I've already seen they're showing highlights. I promise you, we're going to watch Cam Ward and be like, okay. And then you're going to watch the other players at their other positions and be like, holy fuck, he should never been the first pick of this draft. I am a Hurricanes fan. I watched every fucking play of Cam Ward, and I swear to God, I was shaking my head more than I was like, oh shit, that was great. He throws off his back foot. He throws into double coverage. His balls are fucking huge. Half the bullshit that he pulls would not fly in the NFL. I hope they show fucking highlights of things he does well and things he does not, because you can watch highlights all day of him fucking shredding Florida, who was terrible and didn't even play in that game and got the shit kicked out of him, and against fucking pig fucker State, and make him look as great as you want. But I'm telling you right now, he was not the first pick he's not the first pick of this draft. He's a guy he is Jalen Hurts. Now, Jalen Hurts is a lot better now that he was coming out of college. When I say he's Jalen Hurts, I mean Jalen Hurts coming in. In fact, Jalen Hurts is probably a better college quarterback, to be honest. I don't see the Cam Ward love. I don't see it. I think his arm is above average. I don't think it's spectacular. He's got below average to poor mobility, which I'm sure they'll show that he's got great mobility, but you watch him and Jaden Daniels, there's a massive difference. I don't think he does anything great. What I do like about him is he's a gritty player. He has lots of fucking balls. He's got a ton of fucking balls. But, like, I'm telling you, he's going to go to Tennessee if they pick him. And he's going to be a fucking problem. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to take a long time to develop. He's also a guy that plays on his own, meaning he doesn't stick with the play. He's not a progression guy. He plays fucking backyard football. I'm telling you. I promise you, if they pick Cam Ward at 1, they'll be making a massive mistake. When you see someone like Michael Williams play, or you see fucking Jalen Walker play, or you see Abdul Carter, you'll be like, holy fuck. And the same thing goes for Travis Hunter too. I don't think Travis Hunter should be a top 2 pick either. Travis Hunter and Cam Ward are not top two talents in this league, in this draft. And the big knock on Travis Hunter is his attitude and his size. His attitude being, hey, if I don't play both ways, I'm going to retire. And he probably weighs 180 pounds soaking wet. They probably have him listed higher, but he's not 180 pounds. He's a fucking skinny little rail. And it's like, I'm not going to, I would rather take, like, if I'm the Browns, get Ashton Janty, get fucking Mason Graham. Those guys are going to come in and play good right away. Travis Hunter, to me, is a fucking roll of the dice. He is not a guarantee to come in and tear the league up. Let's just see what he says.
I think we all knew this was going to go for a while, and now we're here. It's Cam.
I will probably throw up in my mouth if they do this.
Ward with the first overall pick.
There we go. Okay. First things first. If you don't know football, cover your ears. If you know anything about it, listen to what the fuck I'm saying.
This is where I think we all knew this was going to go for a while, and now.
Very first highlight. He stands there and burps the baby. Now, they're playing Pigfucker State or whatever the fuck this is, and he's standing there burping the baby. He's standing there in the pocket. I saw it in about 3 seconds.
Oh, we're here. It's Cam Ward with the first overall pick. Going to the Tennessee Titans.
The guy's not even covering him. This guy here is fucking 17 fucking miles an hour too slow. And there you go. Easy fucking throw. I mean, I can throw that fucking ball to him. Here we go. He's standing in the... This is another thing. He walks in the pocket. He doesn't even fuck... He's got no urgency.
Good quarterback play in pockets over the years. You think about Ryan Tannehill. You think about Vince Young. But you have to go all the way back to Steve McNair to get a player who's...
But he's throwing across his body, running one way, throwing across his body. It's just... He does things that will not... He does this shit consistently and it won't fly in the NFL.
For a very long period of time.
Beautiful throw.
And Cam...
That was more rare than his bad shit.
Ward reminds me a little bit of...
It's like he did this all game.
McNair, because of the power
arm, got a guy who can't tackle.
That sturdiness and strength in the pocket. You get free rushers.
He throws the ball,
he's able to
throws the ball to a guy with a guy on a defender that's not even look. Who the fuck? What team is this? Is this the local high school team they're playing? Like, what team is this?
Pull through and deliver an accurate ball down the football field. Think about Caleb Williams. We talked about him last.
So he throws across his body again. And look at this. We got 3 defenders who don't know what they're doing. They don't even know where they're supposed to be. And this guy here was way too slow. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
his special ability...
I call these convenient highlights. They're very convenient to make your argument.
To extend and create plays. You see some elements in that. In his...
Across his body, off his back foot. If you want to watch Cam Ward, watch this next play. This is the Cam Ward you're going to be getting more often than not.
Some elements.
Look at this. Burping the baby, no progressions, off his back foot, cross his body. Now, if he completes this pass, it's just because some booger eater couldn't cover the guy he's throwing to. But we'll see.
In his game. Now, here's the rub.
There we go. That's your first pick of the draft. If I'm evaluating a quarterback and he makes one throw like that in college, he will not be the first pick of the draft to me.
Here's the problem.
If you're throwing off your back foot across the field like that, nope.
Man.
And by the way, that ball had no velocity on it, so I don't know where his big fucking arm strength is supposed to be.
Just trying to do a little too much.
That's what I said all the time about him. He does too fucking much. He's always burping the baby. He's always trying to make a play, which is fine. But in the NFL, Tua has this problem where it's like you're trying to do too fucking much and you get hurt, or the play becomes a disaster. He does this every play. He walks in the pocket and he tries to make something happen at the very end of a play when he's already been in the pocket for 5 seconds. They plays in the NFL.
And
there we go. This is your first pick, guys. This is your first pick. Tennessee Titan fans, this is your quarterback.
Some ugly turnover.
You can have him. You can have him. Tennessee wants him. Every fucking other team in the league have escaped a bad pick high in the draft if Tennessee grabs him.
So we got to reel that in.
He can't hold Baker Mayfield's left nut. I'm sorry. That's a good comp, but he can't hold Baker. I would take Mayfield as my quarterback any day of the week. I don't want him as my quarterback.
A little bit.
And like I said, I've seen every play he played. I watched every game he was in. He wasn't that impressive. In fact, he made me shake my head more times than not.
This is someone unmistakably with a very live arm, someone who's strong and...
Hold on. First of all, look at the height of his release. You don't think his balls aren't going to get knocked down? He's not even as big as Tua, and Tua's considered small. Tua's 6'1", 235. So he's 15 pounds smaller than Tua, and his fucking release is at his shoulder.
When Baker Mayfield went number one overall, I see some similarities in their game as well.
Yeah, you talk about that tenacity, the toughness, the willingness to compete. You're going to see all that with Cam Ward. Okay. In addition to that, think about...
They draft Cam Ward. The coach will be fired by the end of the year.
What Brian Callahan, the head coach, is going to put in place with Nick Holtz, the offensive coordinator, Bo Hardegree, the quarterback's coach.
They're going to want... There we go. Who the fuck are they? Is this Louisville?
Want to surround him. Better offensive line.
Look at this guy. What the fuck was that?
And play they've added.
Okay, hold on. Watch what he does here. So he escapes this, which is fine. Watch how slowly and watch how much he floats this fucking underhand throw. He doesn't like dart it to him like fast. He throws it up in the air. It takes 5 seconds to get to the guy. If anyone was around the play that even knew this was happening, it would have been a bit pick six. Watch what he does.
Coach, they're going to want to
watch. He's going to float it as fucking lazily and as high in the air and make it get to the receiver as slow as possible.
Surround him. Better offensive line play. They've added to that in the offseason. The running game, starting with Tony Pollard.
This is your quarterback. He's going to do this every single play. He's going to do this every single play. And if you think that's successful,
Sparks, DJ Spears, they want to make sure that he breaks in well.
There we go. Off his back foot again.
And comfortably.
Off his back foot again.
And they want him to be that face that Steve.
This is good in college. It works out in college when no one can get off a block. But in the NFL, you got pros.
There was.
Those fuckers got to feed their family and provide hush money for the 32 other bitches they're fucking. Yeah, you got another problem. Who the fuck are these guys? The local high school team? Who
this would be the Titans.
FAMU they're playing?
Third pick.
FAMU's like not... Oh, Jesus Christ. Holding, horse collar. What are you doing, bro?
On a quarterback over the last 4 drafts, so maybe third time's the charm. But
and it will not be, by the way.
You know what? Like no major shakeups at this point. 1 pick in.
And I'm not knocking Daniel Jeremiah. He's just predicting where people are going to go. This is not. I think if I sat down in a room with him, and I gave him my negatives, he'd be like, "Yeah, I agree with all of those." But I do think he thinks that Cam Ward will have a high upside. I think Cam Ward is nothing more than a 2nd-round pick at best.
But what about Cleveland?
If I'm the Browns, the more I think about it, I just did my final mock draft. I recorded it about 4 or 5 days ago, and I just put it up a couple of days ago, but I recorded it a few days before I did it. The more I think about this team, I would do. There's only 2 picks, in my opinion, for the Cleveland Browns: Mason Graham or Ashton Jeanty. There are like 3 or 4 players that are going to be traded up for, right? Ashton Jeanty. If you see teams moving up, they're going to get Jeanty. They're going to get Jalen Walker. They're going to move up to get Jihad Campbell. Colston, the tight end out of Michigan, could be moved up for, or the guy from Penn State. One of those tight ends are going to be moved up for. Maybe like an Abdul Carter. Someone can really shoot up to get Abdul Carter. Like if they pass up on him, don't be surprised if the Giants have a bunch of calls about Carter, because Carter is a special athlete. No one's moving up for Cam Ward. I'm sorry. If Tennessee puts up that fucking thing for a trade, and someone moves up, they're not picking Cam Ward. They're going to go get Abdul Carter. They're not getting Cam Ward. No one is moving up for Cam Ward who has a brain. Nobody.
On the clock now, and right now, 2 healthy quarterbacks are on their roster: Kenny Pickett and Joe.
The fucking average pot-belly beer drinking fucking fan knows that Cam Ward ain't the first pick.
So DJ, do they make it back-to-back years that quarterbacks go 1st and 2nd in the draft? Huh?
I think the Browns end up with a quarterback. But not right here.
Okay.
They're going to
Will Howard. They're going to draft Will Howard in the 2nd round.
Go with Travis Hunter, in my opinion, and then maybe hunt for the
another guy that should not be picked in the top 2. He's too thin. He's not going to be able to handle the NFL game playing 2 ways. He's going to be a fucking whiny little baby, it sounds like. I would not pick him at 2. In fact, if I'm the Browns, I'm trading. Now, someone could trade up for Travis Hunter. That could be another one of those guys that get traded up for. But yeah, if I'm the Browns, I'm trading down. I'm trading like the Jaguars. I think Jacksonville will move up and get Hunter. If I'm Tennessee or the Browns, I'm trading out of those picks. Or I'm just going to pick Carter or Walker.
Quarterback later, whether that's coming into the back of the first round or sitting.
Or Michael Williams. I think Michael Williams is worthy of the first pick. I'm that high on Michael. I think Michael Williams is elite getting off of blocks. And when I watch Michael Williams, I see that his game translating to the NFL.
And waiting in the second round.
Right,
so
to
me, they go get the best player in the entire draft and Travis Hunter. Such a unique talent with all the different things he does on each side of the ball. The Heisman Trophy.
Great play. I mean, great catch. Great catch.
You start with the ball skills. As good of ball skills as you'll ever see. His ability to track and play the football, go get it on offense, go get it on defense. It's exceptional. The run after the catch. You're going to get some easy completions if you're Joe Flacco, whoever their quarterback is. You're going to be able to watch him do something special with the ball.
On both sides of the ball at the
when he's on defense, man coverage, I like him better and often.
I like him better as a corner. I don't know what he's going to say here. I think if I draft him, it's going to be as a corner number one, and then work him in as a receiver. I liked how I did the Raiders draft, where I had the Raiders getting him and then drafting a corner in the second round, so that it takes some pressure off of him and he can come in and play receiver a little bit more. But I don't think he's second pick worthy. I think he's going to be more of a problem.
When you see him here with these zone instincts to be able to
come to the starts
see things, set traps, and go make plays on the football. He is a playmaker first and foremost. He's just like water to me, CD. He is so
they have him listed
at
188 pounds. He's probably not more than 180. It looked like if I pushed him, it looked like his feet would instantly go out from underneath him.
Getting a Marcus Peters type to take it away on defense and a Garrett Wilson style receiver.
I like how you went Bruce Lee there. Like water, be able to adjust and manipulate and do all the great things there. Here's the thing you got to think about. The Cleveland Browns in their division, the AFC North, every week is a steel cage match.
So why are you drafting someone who's fucking light on their feet and fucking whiny, and he doesn't fit that culture. He doesn't fit the team. Mason Graham, Ashton Janty, those are way better picks. Anyway, number 3, here we go. Yep.
Have any more than that, so I'm just going to stick with what makes sense.
This is the guy, Abdul Carter. If he drops, this is the guy people are going to be trading up to get. Him and Jalen Walker. I think him and Jalen Walker, and also one of the tight ends. I think one of the tight ends people are going to trade up for, because I think one of the tight ends will be drafted, and the other one will be when the other one is drafted. One's drafted, people will move up to get the other one. That's just my opinion.
To me, Abdul Carter, I think he's the second best player in the draft, an elite pass rusher. So you're getting a premium player.
Yeah, he is very, very good. He's only a finesse player, though. He's not a bull rushing guy. He can't do everything as far as pass rushing. What I love about him is you can put him anywhere. Him and Jalen Walker are basically the same exact player to me. But Jalen Walker's more sturdy. Jalen Walker can bull rush you too. I think Jalen Walker's a little more versatile and a little more NFL ready. But Abdul Carter, absolutely. If he was the first pick of the draft, I wouldn't argue it at all.
At a premium position, and we'll get to the quarterback with the Giants a little later on.
You can put him middle linebacker, put him outside coverage. You can do everything with that
When you
guy.
see rushes like this against USC where they don't get a hand on him because he wins right now, these are early wins. Again, first step quickness. He destroys angles of tackles.
Also, I think Jahad Barron is going to go high in this draft, because I think Jahad Barron's a very, very good chess piece too. I think Barron, you can put him at safety in a nickel. You can put him in the fucking slot. You can put him outside. Barron's a guy that I think Daniel Jeremiah will draft probably in like the top 15, but I could be wrong.
Can blitz him from inside if you want to do some off-the-ball stuff. You see him ranging laterally here as a former off-the-ball linebacker. He can do this stuff as well.
I would put him at stand-up linebacker. It's exactly where I'd put him. Maybe a middle in the 34, maybe outside 34. I would not put his hand in the ground.
Spy quarterbacks, no problem.
He is.
To me, this is an elite talent with elite get-off, big-time bend at the top of his rush.
I don't know if it's
he's from the
Vaughn. They have him Von Miller. But I don't think he's Von Miller, because Von Miller's kind of more of a he's more of a power rusher. This guy here is more of like a Will Anderson to me. He's more of a power rusher. Now, they could be comparing him in other ways, but Von Miller was more of a kind of go through you guy. He was good. He would kind of bend down and go up underneath your arm and all that. But I think Von Miller is more of a power guy. He uses his power. He uses leverage. This guy here uses speed and quickness. I don't think that's
Miller's
a good
school of pass
which means slalom, right? If you're a skier and that bend to get underneath people and make that circle.
That's the only comp is the bend to get underneath. That's where Von Miller shined. But
the hoop to the quarterback.
Von Miller would bend, get underneath, put his shoulder on someone and push him back. not go around them. He was more of a bull rusher.
He does it so well. And if you're the Giants, if you're going to address the quarterback later, I like that tease, DJ. Can't wait to hear about it. Did you say Jackson Dart? Oh, I didn't hear it yet. But anyway, when you talk about Abdul Carter, now you're putting him with Kayvon Thibodeau, you're putting him with Brian Burns, and you pump up things on the defensive side.
Here we go with more convenient highlights. This guy here didn't even know what to do with himself with this guy.
Ball, because who do you have to chase? You got to go get Philadelphia. You got to go get
NFL,
Washington.
You're not doing that to no one in the NFL.
Because right now they're setting the pace in your division.
It makes a lot of sense, especially with Azeez Ojulari departing in free agency. I hear this next pick, though. Actually, this was what Abdul Carter.
Does he have to play inside?
All right, so here's my issue with this guy. Will Campbell. Will Campbell's way too light. Okay, and if you don't believe me, look at him, and then look at him. He looks like a tight end. Look at him, look at him, look at him. They have him listed like 310 pounds. That man is not 310 pounds. He might be because he's 6'6", but look at him, and then look at this guy, and then look at this guy, and then look at this guy, and then look at this guy. Look at this dude. This edge is bigger than him. I think he's about the third best fucking tackle in this draft. I think he's too small. I think he needs to bulk up. I do think he's a hard worker. I do think he's very technically sound. I think he's a good player. He is not the 4th overall pick. If you're not picking Mbu first, as far as tackles go in this draft, you're making a mistake. I even like the guy at Ohio State, but I don't know if he'll be picked in the first round.
He starts at tackle. He's much better than anything they have in that organization right now. If down the road you find out maybe he needs to slide in and play guard,
I wouldn't argue
he can
much
be an
about
outstanding
Campbell there.
guard
I just
as well.
think he's
So
a
to me,
small,
this is a much needed need
I do
here.
think Bill Campbell's good.
Filled by
I would love that from the drop to the Dolphins. Give him to me all day long.
The Patriots.
And sometimes people get upset when they call a safe pick.
Beautiful. Look
People
at that.
want that super splash. Sometimes the safe pick is the
job.
splash. And Will Campbell may very well be that guy. This feels like when they drafted Logan Mankins.
I wouldn't argue much
People
there.
didn't really
I just
know,
personally
but guess
think
what?
Mbu's
Logan
the better
Mankins was a Pro Bowl,
talent
all-pro
guy.
player, and Will Campbell could be the same at left tackle.
It's a great fit for a team that desperately to.
There we go. This is where I had Ashton Jeanty going. I don't think he'll have him here. No one's picking him there. Everybody's having Jeanty go to the Raiders. I think Jeanty's going to go higher, and I think if you want Ashton Jeanty, you're going to have to move up in the top 5. You might even have to go to 2. Don't be surprised if Ashton Jeanty goes to the fucking Browns
tomorrow. So set your
alarm. I don't think I personally, in reality, don't think he'll pass the Jaguars. But
arms now.
If you want Jeanty and he doesn't get drafted at 2, you're going to have to move to 5. Or just go get another running back later.
So to recap, DJ has Cam Ward going first to the Titans, Heisman winning cornerback and receiver Travis Hunter going to the Browns, edge rusher Abdul Carter to the Giants, and the Patriots help protect Drake May with LSU tackle Will Campbell, which means we have which team?
I don't like it so far. Abdul Carter is the only one I think is really worthy.
Jacksonville.
Oh, this fucking
the community. Duval.
I'm sorry, I could hear it so many times and it'll never get old. Every single time it's good. So
I don't know that Liam thinks it's fantastic.
Really? Oh, come on, Liam, embrace it. So do you think that they go offense with this pick?
I do. I think this offseason has been about Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you go out and get an offensive head coach. You go out and get some offensive linemen in free agency. Now I think it comes down to a wide receiver versus a running back. And when you look at the great Jags teams over...
What? Okay. All right. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. Anybody who's been watching my mock drafts over the years, I was one of the few people that was putting Bijan Robinson to the Falcons. Everyone had him going to the Raiders and shit. I was one of the few that had him going to the Falcons. And I'm telling you right now, they're almost lucky to get Ashton Jeanty there. The more I look at the running backs in this draft, the more I think they're severely overrated. And Ashton Jeanty is the most fucking talented running back in this draft. It's probably not even close. He is the 1 home run hitter guy. He is the 3 down guy. Hampton might be that too. But this guy here is plug and play, instantly makes your offense better. Do not be surprised if the Browns grab him or someone moves up to get him. Do not be surprised. If you want Jeanty, you're going to have to go fucking get him.
The ones that have been great, they featured a big-time running back, whether that was a big-time guy that we work with in Maurice Jones-Drew. You go back to Fred Taylor. You look at early Leonard Fournette. All those good Jags teams had big-time backs. What I love about Jeanty is You just can't hit him. He's just a little.
There's a bunch of average corners. There's one plug and play safety. There's another safety that's got good ability. There's four elite linebackers, but no one picks linebackers high. There's no good like pan on the ground fucking defensive end. All of them just have kind of like project written all over them. There's one good defensive tackle, but he's not physically dominant. He just works hard. The other physically dominant defensive tackle in Kenneth Grant takes plays off. I mean, this draft is very inconsistent. So don't be surprised if this guy goes extremely high, because he is an absolute pick him and your team is instantly better.
Piece of
He's one of the few players in this draft.
Get to him. His contact balance.
There's about 6 or 7 players in this draft, 10, maybe 10, where you pick them and you're like, I know we're doing well. Jalen Walker, Ashton Janty, Abdul Carter, Jaheed Campbell, Michael Williams, the 2 tight ends, Colston and I forget the other guy's name, like 44 from Penn State, Mbu. Those players, those are all the guys that if you pick, your team is instantly better. Oh, Malachi Starks, you pick Malachi Starks, your team's instantly better. Other than that, you're just kind of guessing.
Ridiculous. There's plays like this littered through his tape where you're like, how did he just come out of it? They cannot get him on the ground because of that contact balance.
Why would you pick
and look
Cam
how
Ward
low
over
he
this?
gets to the ground on contact. Guys just bounce
you
off
would pick Cam Ward over this? Seriously?
his legs. He can lower his shoulder and run through defense.
Like the Titans should just pick this guy and have Will Levis hand the ball to him. They'll probably score more.
Down there at the goal line. I think
Will Levis grow. And here's a big news flash. Will Levis' ceiling is about 10 floors higher than Cam Ward's. Will Levis is just mentally just got to put it together. I would keep Will Levis and draft this fucking guy if I'm going to go anything on offense.
Baselli, who's involved heavily with this organization, is going to love this pick, CD.
Don't be surprised if this guy goes like number 2. Do not be
Hall of Fame. They love to block for excellent running backs. And don't forget, when you mention that muscle.
And it's funny, my son, whose name is Ashton, it actually showed me this guy like 2 years ago. He's like, you ever seen that guy from the Boise State, Ashton, a guy named Ashton? I'm like, I started watching. I'm like, man, it's pretty good. He ended up being like really good. So nice call, Ashton, if you're watching, man. Good job, bro. Make your dad proud.
Or Sanders. So, could we have our second quarterback here, DJ?
So there we go, the Raiders.
I don't think so. I think this comes down to whether or not they're going to go for an offensive lineman. Ashton Janty is off the board.
I think if Ashton Janty's off the board for the Raiders, they're going to go defense or they're going to go like receiver or something like that.
Or you could look at a defensive lineman. Mason Graham would be tempting from Michigan. John Spytek, the general manager from Michigan. But I'm going to draw a different connection. I'm going to say they go to the University of Texas and they go get Kelvin Banks. You are in a situation with the Raiders.
Jesus, Daniel Jeremiah, what are you doing? What are you doing, dude? What are you doing? Like, I don't hate it, but Mbu's better. Like, it's not even close. Hopefully they show Mbu's highlights. It's not even close. Watch him drop out of the first round or something. Yeah. If they're going to go anybody from Texas, if they're going to go anyone from Texas, I know Will Carroll or Pete Carroll, he will pick Golden.
A left tackle, Colt Miller, who wants more money. You've got an opportunity to know everything.
If they pick Kelvin Banks, it's a mistake because Mbu's sitting right there.
Kelvin Banks because Pete Carroll and Steve Sarkisian are very close, having worked together. So I'm going to just connect these dots and say they get their eventual starting left tackle, and Banks can fill in elsewhere until that day comes.
Yeah, and if you are playing in the AFC West,
I don't hate picking offensive line, but oof.
Kansas City has become a very good defensive team rushing the quarterback. Denver last year wreaked havoc getting after people, going after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. So this makes a lot of sense. You're trying to make sure you shore up that left tackle position. Kelvin Banks, people can talk about length and getting the footwork is exceptional. Kind of looks like Rashawn Slater.
Kelvin Banks was very up and down. I would watch him. He'd be very good or he'd get the shit kicked out of him. That's kind of what he was. He was very inconsistent. That's why I don't think he's good at 6.
Out there a lot.
Good player, but he's inconsistent
that
as far as being elite.
So you don't worry about the left arm, the arm length at left tackle. That's a nice pick for the Raiders.
You absolutely do. Okay, that's fine. Go watch Mbu. That's one of my favorite things about him. He would put his arms out and you weren't fucking touching him. He would keep you right the fuck back. And
a little bit of a surprise.
Nice pick for the Raiders. Let's go to the Jets now. What do you have going on with the New York Jets?
So I feel like a lot of these picks, it feels like one or two players. Mm-hmm. Tyler Warren, I love the big tight end from Penn State. But then you have Armand Membu, the right tackle from Missouri. They have one hole left on this offensive line that they have completely revamped.
Okay. You're now going to watch the best offensive lineman in this draft. and it's probably not even close. Okay, look at that. Look how he's standing up already. He's above the guy, kneeling down on him. So that means he's pushing this guy into the ground already. Look at that leverage. He's already got the angle on this guy. Already. This guy's cooked. This guy's cooked. He's done. I haven't even seen the highlight yet. He's done. He's got this. He's already, his hips are wide. His foot's already out where he's already going to be. He's already got this guy fucked right in the ass. He's already got him.
For the last couple.
Look at that. And look at that. Look at what I'm talking about with the hands and the arms. He's keeping his ass right off. I very rarely saw Kelvin Banks do that.
Years.
This guy does it all over the place, except he's a right tackle. I think he can play left.
This would be that finishing piece for the Jets. Just plug and play him. It is natural right tackle.
Okay, look what he does here. Look what he does here.
Revamped over the last couple years.
Okay.
This would be that finishing piece for the Jets. Just plug and play him.
These are elite. Elite, not good, elite highlights. This isn't just he's bigger and stronger than the guy in front of him. Watch what he does here. So he's going to come off here. He's going to shed this edge, right? So what he does great, his hands and also his foot placement. He's going to put his foot all the way out here to completely cover this guy off. And he's got a fucking massive body to where he can completely cover this guy up. Completely takes this guy out because of his foot placement, his hip placement, and his arm placement. Watch.
It is natural
it's
right
fucking perfect. He blocks this guy. You're out of the play, bitch. Then he's going to take this asshole.
I was around Jason Peters when I worked with the Philadelphia Eagles.
I saw none of that from Will Campbell. I saw Will Campbell get hit and get pushed on his fucking heels a lot.
He's built just like him.
Look at that. Look at this. This guy's cooked. I mean, his footwork's beautiful.
I'm not saying he's going to end up being a Hall of Famer like JP, but that's what you can dream on. And they want to run the football with Justin Fields and those backs. He is excellent in the run game.
That's the tackle you take first. Oh, and look who we got. The guy I loved last year, who I thought was the best tackle out of the draft, and he ended up kind of being that, actually. The elite guy out of fucking Penn State, who I absolutely loved. You don't believe me? Go back and watch my shit from last year.
Look at it there. It's very simple, right? Fashion.
Look at that offensive line. That's a beautiful line. I don't know about this guy. I don't know much about him, but he's great. He's solid. And these two guys are elite.
Last year. Now you've got your guy and you're ready to go left tackle. And the extra piece that DJ talked about.
I would take him over Will Campbell any day of the week.
And if it turns out to be Jason Peters-esque, look out.
All right, let's get to these next two picks.
Not
here.
that Will Campbell's bad. I'm just really high on him.
The Carolina Panthers. Mason Graham just fell to him the way this came off the board for me. He's a really, really good football player. You think about the Panthers and the effort they made to go get Milton Williams. They came up a little short. Patriots got out from under him and took it.
And that's not a knock on him. And I think he'll be an overachiever for a very long time.
They get a big-time defensive tackle here in Mason Graham out of Michigan. Let's keep
his mind and his fucking work ethic will make him
train rolling. Let's go to the Saints. I'm looking at both these Georgia edge rushers. Some say this is a quarter.
There we go. My guy. I told you. That's the guy I'm high on. I'm telling you guys. I am very high on Michael Williams. I'm very high. And this guy here who was a scout for the NFL has him a lot higher than most people do.
Out of Michigan. Let's keep the train rolling. Let's go to the Saints.
I'm going to tell you, Michael Williams is bigger than people think. He's got his arms are long. He's very, very good getting off of blocks.
I'm looking at both these Georgia.
Like elite getting off. Look how big he is. It's funny. He's listed like the same size as Abdul Carter. He is way bigger than Abdul Carter is. He is elite. He's the best player in this entire draft. It's not even close. Technique-wise, getting off of blocks. I know that doesn't sound like much, but I'm telling you, it's very important in the NFL. It's very important to get off of blocks. He is elite at that.
Edge rushers. Some say this is a quarterback.
Look at that focus already, right off the bat. Look at the focus right off the bat.
I'm looking at both these Georgia edge rushers.
He stands up. He's not focusing the guy in front of him. He's watching the ball. His eyes are on the ball. And Jalen Walker is elite at this too. Stands up, eyes are on the ball. He's got confidence in his body, confidence in his technique. He knows that he can get off a block. He's watching that ball at all times.
Rushers. Some say this is a quarterback spot here at 9.
This is a awesome football player right here.
And I don't think so. I think they wait along with some of these.
The problem with a lot of his highlights and film, he's getting to the quarterback, but he's too busy patting Jalen Walker on the ass because Jalen Walker just got there first because that's how good Jalen Walker is.
Other teams, Michael Williams,
right there,
big, firm, strong edge-setting presence. Brandon Staley's defense, Khalil Mack, Tuli Pelotu. He values guys that can put up that wall against an.
So you're going to pick Cam Ward over that? You're fucking stupid.
Offense, and also I think there's upside with him as a rusher.
Upside as a rusher, he's the best. He's the best player off of blocks in this entire draft. Jeremiah, come on, bro. Like,
One more Saul left.
I'm sorry, man. Like, I like you and I respect you. That's why I'm looking at this. But he is the best player off blocks in this draft. It's not even fucking close.
Last year, what worked in Philadelphia. So go grab that Bulldog because usually that's a great formula. Rounding out the top 10 is the Bears.
I wouldn't argue if you picked Michael Williams first in this draft. I wouldn't argue with you.
They invested in their offensive line and free agency to help protect last year's #1 overall pick, Caleb Williams. They also poached offensive sage Ben Johnson from their division rival. So does Caleb get a new pal on offense?
Yeah, rocking the 44.
Okay,
how about lining him up at center against
US? First tight end off the board.
Running a trick play, he goes up and gets the football.
I like this. He
got an opportunity to adjust to balls down the field and made a bunch of catches like this. And watch him absorb the hit as well.
I could see this guy like running in touchdowns on the 1 yard line and shit. I could see him kind of doing like everything, almost like the guy Hill from the Saints, but actually good.
Not a problem. And then after the catch, he can run over you. He can run away from you. And apparently he can jump over the top of you. And as popular as he's going to be with Caleb Williams, he's going to be just as popular as the running back.
Let me tell you something. SMU ain't no joke. That SMU team plays hard. So to take someone on SMU who's got like a really hard playing attitude and push him back like that, that's elite.
Because this is what he does as a blocker.
And that play that he made against USC where he snapped it and then caught it, there would have been a fight in the backyard and the game would have ended because they said, that's illegal. There's no way it happens. But the big thing for me with this, guys, is Ben Johnson, right? Coming from Detroit, he had...
Very exciting, just like this Niners pick.
All right, so this one, I get it. I think there's a chance you have to wait a little bit more for Gray Zabel. I love the...
All right, so let me give you a little history on him. This guy was on nobody's radar. He's a very good football player, but he's an overachiever. He's a guy that was like probably a 4th or 5th round pick, maybe. Did really well in the Senior Bowl. Now, what he did well was he moved inside the center, played really well at center. He was very good. He's got great technique, and he's a hard worker. He's like Mason Graham, but he doesn't have the physical tools the other guys have. He's like a physical overachiever, which in this instance, to pick him this high, I don't know if it's a great idea. I think he's going to be very good at guard. I just think it's very high. If you want Gray Zabel, I think you can trade down and move down and get him later. I don't hate it because he's a good football player, but I do think it's high.
Player, I love the idea with Brock Purdy getting ready to get paid of let's address the offensive line.
He's a hard worker.
This dude can play all 5 positions. He was outstanding at the
The problem is he can play at all 5 positions, but he's not elite at any of them.
Senior Bowl. Maybe you trade back a little bit and take him, but I love his fit with the 49ers.
Look at that. He had a hard time with a corner or a safety. The guy knocked him down. I mean, I know there's leverage and everything, but 11th pick of the draft, this guy should be on his ass back here out of bounds. Not on the floor with him.
All right, so we have these picks in, but we're getting closer and closer to the actual. And you can attend for free. Register for free entry at NFL.com/.
I'm not trying to take your job, Cal.
Cam Ward, Hunter, bad first 2 picks. Great pick here. Solid pick here. Spectacular pick here. In fact, don't be surprised if he goes up here. Calvin Banks Jr., I would have picked someone else, but still don't hate it. Membu should be here. Banks should be there. But I see why he did that because he's a left, he's a right. I do think he can play left. I think he'll be a left. I think he'd be a better left tackle than Banks. But I don't hate these picks. I'm always... Give me offensive line with talent all day long. Doesn't matter where you pick them. Just fucking pick them. Mason Graham, beautiful. He's not going to drop that low. He's not going to. I think the Browns, to me, if they're smart, are going JT or Graham. Maybe Carter. I don't see picking Carter as taking pressure off of Myles Garrett. I see Carter taking the spot that JOK had, where he was a pass rushing outside linebacker. That's who he reminds me of, is JOK. The guy that got hurt and busted his neck, number 6, that's who he reminds me of, is JOK. JOK was a good edge rushing, fast athletic linebacker out of college. Exactly what it was.
That right now.
Michael Williams, I absolutely love this pick. If you put him at number 1, I wouldn't argue. If you put him at number 2, I wouldn't argue. Put him anywhere above this, I wouldn't argue. I think 9 is actually too low for Michael Williams, but he will probably go lower than this. Michael Williams will be the surprise of the draft. Tyler Warren, beautiful. Gray Zabel, don't hate it, but I feel like you could have done better there. I feel like Josh Simmons would have been a better pick there, but Gray Zabel, I absolutely love. I just think he's high at 11.
The draft, it is loading, and while we wait for the real named Micah Parsons, and that seemed to work out.
Shamir Stewart, that's where he should be going, but we'll see where Chris Stewart goes. Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so Daniel Jeremiah picked him where I did. Okay, cool. McMillan, that's a great spot for McMillan, isn't the Cowboys? I think McMillan would probably do better with someone like the Chiefs or whatever, but the problem with McMillan, he's very inconsistent. He's not an elite route runner. The only thing he does elite is really he's just bigger than the guy next to him. He's not a bad receiver, but I don't think he's a game-changing fucking receiver. I think he's very good as a number 2. And I think he can be very elite, but he's another guy with a bunch of talent, and who knows if he's going to be great. I do think he's going to be very good. The more I watch McMillan, the more
rangy target for Dak Prescott.
Well, I wouldn't have an issue if he got drafted higher than this. I really wouldn't have a problem with it. Like I said, I just don't think that receivers should go high if you need a bunch of shit. I just don't.
You're going with.
I'd almost say he's actually got a higher upside as far as receiver goes. If you want a wide receiver and you're going to draft Travis Hunter, if you want a receiver, I would grab him first because I think he's got a higher upside than Travis Hunter as a receiver. Travis Hunter's a very good football player and he goes both ways and he's flashy and your team will be on the fucking the morning fucking talk shows for the next year. But I think McMillan, for football wise, McMillan has a higher upside at receiver.
This one because it makes so much.
If McMillan can become 3/4 of the route runner that Travis Hunter is, McMillan will be significantly better.
Since CD Lamb wanting that running mate,
fucking 6 inches taller and 35 pounds bigger.
That allows him to run a little freer down in the secondary. McMillan gets a chance to play a little basketball, or really, should I say, volleyball, which was his second sport, and go over the top of people downfield. That makes a whole lot of sense to me to see how they're going to do with that. And let's see how the rest of the division deals with this big, tall receiver. Plus, that's a Cowboys pick, man.
Want Colston Loveland. You're looking
mock draft. The Broncos are
the Dolphins are supposed to. Oh, they have a trade here.
Making moves, and Sean Payton gets his Joker.
Yeah, he's been talking about that Joker, that mismatched player. I know they went out.
And remember what I told you? Who was going to be traded for is one of the tight ends. I told you that once one of the tight ends get traded for, the other one's going to be traded up for. That's where trades are going to happen. Is right when Warren, I think is his name, from one of the, if Warren or Colston gets picked, whoever's left team is going to trade up to go get. I almost guarantee you.
Evan Ingram. I do not think
they're both elite tight ends.
That will stop them from trying to get up and get someone like Colston Loveland. And if you want Colston Loveland, so you're looking at the Colts at 14 going, you better get in front of them. They've been identified as a tight end team. So you get him with Bo Nix, a chance for them to grow together. I think if he had a healthy process, I have him as one of the 7 best players in the draft. If he had been healthy all throughout the spring,
don't be surprised.
I don't think they'd have the opportunity.
If he gets picked first and they're going to, someone's trading up to go get the guy from Penn State, don't be blown away
to get him at this point in time, CD.
Yeah, and think about what he did last year. Missed games, caught the most balls he ever caught in a single season at Michigan. And let's just say their quarterback play was uneven at best. So this guy is super talented. What you listed for him, smooth mover, rangy athlete, Mark Andrews type player.
Mark Andrews.
I comped him to Tyler Eifert. Remember the great tight end at Cincinnati before injuries took him out? His ability to break out wide, get one-on-one, make plays downfield, and a major red zone target. Because he can go one-on-one with people.
I would say his comp really, honestly, is Travis Kelce. I don't know if he'll be as good, but that's who he plays like. He plays like Kelce. He's a good route runner. He catches everything that comes around to him. He's kind of got his size. He can block. He's kind of more like a Travis Kelce.
Put a linebacker out there.
Not saying that he's going to be that good, but
feed you. Defensive back, he'll be over the top of the defensive back. It's going to take a lot to keep Colston Loveland out of the end zone. This is what I predict so well. Look at that. That's one-on-one against a DB in the red zone, getting it done. You mentioned the Joker. Ingram can be the Joker. He can be Jeremy Shockey, Jason Witten, right? And Jimmy Graham. Remember, Sean Payton coached all 3 of those tight ends as well.
And if you want to know what that costs, because I'm sure people are curious.
DJ, what does that cost?
What would that look like? You can see it on the screen right here.
The Broncos, the Dolphins to do this.
They get up, they get pick 13. They also pick up
Justin
a 4th
Simmons.
round.
I don't know if Justin Simmons will be mocked here because it looks like he may not, but I love Justin Simmons. I think he's great. Now, this is injuries. I haven't looked at his injuries and stuff, but if he's healthy, Justin Simmons or Josh Simmons is fucking spectacular
pick. They have to part with that 20th pick in the first round, as well as their second round pick, the 51st pick. So they get a pick back as well. But man, it's costly. But they are getting one, in my opinion, one of the 7 best players.
I don't think the Broncos would do this trade. I think the Broncos would do this and get a third, not get a fucking fourth. I think the Broncos wouldn't be getting enough there if they're giving up their first round pick. If I'm the Broncos, I'd give them the 13th. I would get the 13th and a third round pick, and the Dolphins would get the 20th and a second. That's what I would do. The fourth round pick, that's not enough.
In this draft.
You're doing it all, evaluating, analytics, money. I mean, you name it.
I mean, if you love the guy, yeah, you give it up. But
you know who's, I'm sure, thrilled about that Broncos trade up? Chris Ballard, because they desperately need a tight end. So who do the Colts get?
Well, the tight ends are gone now. You've got 2 big-time tight ends.
Yes, I think the Colts are going to trade up or try to trade up to get one of those tight ends, and I do think that someone will trade up to get one of those tight ends. One will be gone early, and then the teams that need them are drafting a little bit later, and they'll move up to go get them. That's where the trades will happen. That, and then also I think someone's going to move up to get JT.
So Chris Ballard, look at his track record. What does he love? He loves traits. And one of the traitsiest players in this year's draft class is Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher out of...
Okay. Here's where I like him. And I know you may disagree with me or whatever. Shamar Stewart is an inside player. He's not an outside player. He's a defensive tackle. He's an aggressive, pass-rushing defensive tackle in an outside linebacker's body, and he's still growing, believe it or not. Whatever team drafts him, they need to focus on his nutrition. They need to focus on bulking him up. I would put about 20 pounds on him and stick him as an interior 43 defensive tackle. To me, he's John Randall. That's exactly what he is to me. He's an aggressive, ruthless fucking player who would flourish on the inside of a defensive line. You know, like the Dolphins. If the Dolphins wanted to go grab him, put him next to Zach Sealer, it would be beautiful. I think he could play as a defensive tackle in the NFL at 265 pounds. That's how strong he is. He's physically dominant. I don't think he's an outside guy. I think he's in the wrong spot. And I think that, like I said, if he gained 20 pounds, which is harder to do than... You know, it's hard, easier said than done. Gain 20 pounds, but look the way he's built. I think he can gain 20 pounds with no problem. And I would stick him on the inside as an interior defensive lineman.
Texas A&M, quite honestly, reminds me a little bit of Kwity Paye, who they picked coming out of Michigan, who did not have a ton of...
more athletic. He's thicker, built like that, but he's more athletic. As far as like a linebacker type player. And Kwity Paye was more of an outside linebacker. This guy here is just a stout, hand in the ground, push your ass back guy.
Production. But at the Senior Bowl, you saw what Shamar Stewart was capable of, the speed, the power.
He
just doesn't have the sacks. He doesn't have that production to fall back on. But man, there is a lot of upside with this young man. Let's get it going here to the Falcons.
The problem is all the highlights they're showing him is just him not even being blocked.
This was a little bit of a surprise.
This is the best player in the draft. This is Abdul Carter matured. This is Abdul Carter NFL ready, which Abdul Carter completely has the skills to come in and play well. I think this guy is a more well-rounded Abdul Carter. Example, he can go through you or he can go around you pass rushing. Abdul Carter can only go around you. Once he tries to go through you, he gets locked up. That was Will Anderson's not, but Will Anderson is so fast and quick that it's worked well for him. But this guy here, you could put him middle linebacker, will be a best player. You could put him outside linebacker, best player. You put him a defensive end, probably your best player. This guy is the best football player in the draft.
Jalen Walker was still there. The Falcons have
that an edge rusher.
That is an edge.
Not just that. He's on a block. His eyes are focused. He's focused on the ball. This is a fucking top tier elite defensive player.
Edge rusher. The Falcons have needed an edge rusher since Charles Davis was in Pee Wee football. They finally get one, and again, one of the top players. It's a value.
It's Calvin Banks. Calvin Banks doesn't know what to do with him, and Calvin Banks outweighs him by 30, 40 pounds at least.
Pick with Jalen Walker, they won't have to travel far to have gotten to know him. So I'm going to go Jalen Walker right there to Atlanta.
The guy's motor doesn't stop. He's physically dominant. This guy here, he's just not as fast as Carter. Carter obviously is faster, but this guy, and if you say Carter's better, don't have an argument there. I love this guy here. I think he is completely 100% NFL ready to be great.
The Arizona Cardinals, this might sound familiar. They go to the Ohio State University and get another receiver.
I don't hate it.
I like this not only because I think Emeka Egbuka is worthy of going here and he's a good player. I think Emeka Egbuka gets there with his former teammate and Marvin Harrison, and I think he raises his level of play. So here they are as teammates in Columbus.
Oh, look at that. He's just as big. He's just, if not bigger than Harrison. He's big. He's bigger than he looks on film.
They reunite, same color scheme, CD. We get him.
He's got a longer reach, though. His arms are longer, and he's a better receiver. But this guy here, yeah, be beautiful with those two.
There with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, the jerseys look very similar. Now the play style can be similar. And he compared also to add Michael Wilson in from Stanford.
All right, we're going to keep the train moving here.
No one liked him. I mean, they liked him, but...
Got next up, the Cincinnati Bengals with the 17th pick. Edge rusher, Donovan Ezra.
Okay, so why are we picking him and not Mike Green?
Raku from Boston College. Actually reminded me of some of the guys that have been instinctive rushers.
This guy has moving up in the draft and getting drafted early written all over him. I don't know why. I think he's very flashy. He can be very good, but then he's not overly great. He's kind of a project, but
one of which is Trey Hendrickson.
But he's one of those guys that wouldn't surprise me if he was one of the better players out of the draft, and it wouldn't surprise me if he got drafted and you never heard from him again.
They've got to figure that contract situation out. This either gives him a running mate or replacement. I guess we'll have to find out as we go forward. But a lot of tricks in his bag, a lot of production, knows
he looks good.
How to win as a pass rusher.
And
but everything I saw of him, he was a little bit inconsistent.
New DC, Al Golden, he gets some reinforcements for that defense that struggled mightily last season.
Pretty good.
Lots of intrigue and drama. Moving up to take a quarter.
My thing with Mike Green is that he's kind of small. That's my thing with Mike Green. He's very, very good off blocks, and Mike Green's not as much of a stand-up guy as that guy is. So I'm now that I was watching him a little bit there, as far as those highlights and stuff go, I kind of see why he was picked over Green there. Because I don't think Mike Green will translate to like a stand-up guy, which I think is where he should play, but we'll see. Mike Green's
will it be Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart? Stick around to find out who goes to which team right after this.
I'll bet it'll be Sanders. He's like...
And here's a sneak peek at our new content series where Brock Purdy and Daniel Jeremiah break down Shedeur's game, like we talked about.
Okay, so here we go. Yeah, not bad. I just think the Bengals are in the business of picking players who are going to come in and contribute and play well. And I think you have better players available. But that guy, like I said, he could end up being like the best guy of the draft. He's got all the tools to be really good.
Like we talked about before. So much to look forward to. Now, the Giants, obviously, they picked Abdul Carter at 3. They still need a quarterback, though. So where are the potential spots that they could trade up to get that quarterback?
Well, I think they could look potentially at, if they're worried about the Saints, I guess we could come all the way up. That would be so expensive. I have them not doing that. I have them being a little bit patient. But the Pittsburgh Steelers at 21 are lurking. So if you want a quarterback, you've got to go get them. And that's why I had this trade take place with the New York Giants vaulting all the way up to the 18th pick.
Oh, why? Okay. Now, the highlights are going to show he's probably going to be very flashy and look like the real deal. This guy is not. He's not the real deal. He's very inconsistent. He has backup written all over him. I would not trade up to get him, but
not only because it makes sense for them to get ahead of the Seattle Seahawks, ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers, it makes sense that the Seattle Seahawks would want to get back. The Seahawks have done a lot of work on these day 2 players. I think, Chris,
beautiful throw.
They would love to have a lot of picks in that range of the draft. So
I do like
we'll see if this thing goes down. They get their quarterback with the Giants, Jackson Dart. He's talented. He can escape. He can create a lot of big plays in this Lane Kiffin offense.
With these highlights,
it's very vertical. You see the athleticism with the pocket.
Watching these highlights, he's the guy to pick over Cam Ward.
Pocket movement. He's able to climb up, make plays down the field, and then...
Now that I'm watching that, I got to watch him again. He might be the guy to pick over Ward.
His rushing totals, don't sleep on those when you dig into his numbers in the SEC. He can really move.
I've seen a bunch of his highlights, and I watched one of his games. I didn't see that consistently. I just didn't see it. He got better every year, which is very important to me. Competitive, tough. Jalen Hurts. I would take him over Cam Ward any fucking day of the week. I'd trade down and grab him.
The Jalen Hurts comparison is because of the trend line. This guy,
like I said, I've watched him in games and stuff. He didn't do this stuff consistently. He was pretty inconsistent.
It just keeps getting better and better, and reminds me of Jalen Hurts, where I think his best football is out in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to reach for a quarterback, he kind of sounds like one to reach for. I'd say reach for Will Howard, but oh god, I think I missed the ball.
That to me is why I could see this whole thing coming together. John Schneider gets all those second-day picks. Yeah. He can fill some of those needs for the Seahawks.
Yeah, you're right about.
I see the argument.
That's what John Schneider does, and that's how Seattle ends up with good players all the time. But the second part of what you're saying, for me, the competitiveness and toughness. That's something that's underrated with Jackson Dart. That's what you see. And when DJ keeps
look at that ball flying out of his hands,
talking about how he gets better and better all the time, that plays really well with a head coach like Brian Daboll, who has competitive periods all the time and wants guys to prove each and every day. You want to be the best.
So this guy looks like a quarterback.
You're going to go out and compete, and they will coach him in alignment.
He's got a really quick release. Holy shit. He might have something here, actually.
Daboll is the head coach. Shea Tierney is the quarterback's coach. And, of course, Mike Kafka is the offensive coordinator. He will get the same message each and every day. And don't think for a second he's going to sit back and just wait for Russell Wilson. He's going to go and try and reel him in.
And DJ, I like how this comes full circle too, because 21 years after they trade up for an Ole Miss quarterback in Eli Manning, they do it again with Jackson Dart. So it's been a long wait for Shedeur Sanders, but we have the Bucs now on the clock. So who do they take at 19?
Yeah, they're not taking a quarterback.
I know that.
They're very comfortable there with where they are with Baker Mayfield. I looked at a couple different directions. Edge rushers could be in play here for Jason Light and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But also,
I don't think Golden will drop this far.
Look personally. At Mike Evans, who's getting a little bit older. How much longer is he going to be around? And this is Matthew Golden out of Texas, who gives him a big-time vertical weapon to complement the pieces they have there. McMillan's a really good young player out of Washington who they got. Now you look at Chris Godwin. You've got Mike Evans. Now we've got another young, fast guy to throw into their mix there.
Don't forget Godwin coming off of injury.
Yeah, exactly. We keep the train rolling here. Up next is the Miami Dolphins. They had slid down via that trade, so they are picking here.
I love him as a player. I just think the Dolphins have desperate needs at offensive tackle, and they need corners. Where's Will Johnson? Where's Will Johnson in this?
At number 20, Malachi Starks.
Why is Will Johnson falling?
There's a lot of teams that are
talking about top 10 pick.
Eyeballing him. They're especially towards the bottom of the first round that are
Georgia. What happened to them this year?
Constantly calling me. Is he going to be there when we pick? Not in this scenario. I have the Miami Dolphins taking him. Javon Holland departed in free agency. They replace him with the very talented Malachi Starks.
All right.
I would do backflips for joy if they grabbed him.
All right. So there we have it. But Shedeur Sanders does not have a home yet, and that is something that everyone.
Well, if Shedeur Sanders drops to the Dolphins, don't be surprised, because he would fit that offense fucking perfect. Do not be blown away if the Dolphins grab him.
I was wondering.
That's another spot. He would fit the Dolphins perfect. The Dolphins have a very trade-friendly contract with Tua, and he is the kind of guy that would fit that offense perfect.
And you're going to have to wait to see if he slides in the actual draft tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on NFL Network. So stay glued to all of our coverage coming up your way. All right, as we take a look at the overall selection until he finally was able to get out of the green room.
There we go. Sanders to Pittsburgh. Okay.
At this point in time,
I don't think he's a good fit there.
If he does not go here, I don't have a home for him. I think he falls all the way out of the first round. So this is kind of the last stop. And when you look at where the Pittsburgh Steelers are right now, they've waited forever with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know that that's ever going to happen. There's options out there in a veteran. You could look at a Kirk Cousins if they decide not to take a quarterback.
I mean, they're dominating
when you watch Shedeur Sanders, I have him as my 20th player. So this is about the range where I had him. This guy played under a lot of duress, a lot of collapsing pockets, a lot of pressure, and made some big-time accurate throws. Look at the ball placement here, dropping this ball right in the bucket. Toughness, accuracy, those are his calling cards. Now, the area to clean up, he drifts a lot, he holds the ball, he takes bad sacks.
The quarterbacks in this draft are nothing more than high-end second-round picks. They're not top guys. There's too many flaws with them. They all have too many flaws. They're not big enough. Their arm's not quite strong enough. They're stupid. I'm telling you, the quarterbacks in this draft are not good.
I have to speed up his clock,
They're not
CD.
good.
He's got to play faster at the next level.
6'1",
this is a classic point guard, and again,
and you're worried about Tua getting hurt?
Those are the two calling cards.
And that's not unusual for college quarterbacks having to speed up their clock. The pro speed will make you do that. Caleb Williams had to learn it last year because they're used to.
Tua's 6'1", 200, all of 230, 235, all of it. He's very, very big on the bottom end of his body. Tua is a big fucking quarterback as far as stout-wise. He's not big and tall, but these guys are no taller than Tua, and they're 20 pounds smaller.
Getting out of things and making plays downfield by holding the ball longer happens with all of them. But here's what I like about this pick. He goes to a place that's going to want to run the football. The offensive line has gotten better.
I don't see it with these guys.
What did they add in the offseason? A big target out wide in DK Metcalf. What did they have on the roster already? A big target out wide in George Pickens. One thing Shedeur Sanders does very well is throw the deep ball
as hard as he could, and it was a duck.
Now you got that opportunity to have the running game, and then off of play action, he goes over the top to those big receivers. And the best part is whether they sign Aaron Rodgers, whether they trade for what's his name, Kirk Cousins, doesn't matter. You can still draft this young man, groom him, and let him go. And I think Pittsburgh, it plays very well into his game.
Because as of right now, that Pittsburgh quarterback room has Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson. So some type of move needs to be made. Now let's go to the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, he gets himself
He's a West Coast, get the ball out of your hands fast, throw on timing routes quarterback. That's exactly what he is.
Buckeye, DJ.
Yeah, what? Buckeye left.
What just happened here?
This is how this works. Joey Bosa left, so he has to have a friendly enemy. So he's going to bring in Travion Henderson, who is a home run hitter, who also happens to be exceptional in pass protection.
Very
if
good.
you tune in and watch the draft, you'll see some of the highlights we're going to show of this young man in pass protection. It is exquisite.
He wouldn't be a first-round pick in any other draft.
Justin Herbert gets somebody to hand it off to. He can throw it to him, and he can also have another layer of protection there with Travion Henderson. 23, you get to the Green Bay Packers. It just seems like athletic, explosive SEC defensive players is a pretty good fail-safe for where Brian Gutekunst could go. Everybody here is going to think maybe it's receiver. That just never seems to happen. So I'm going to go with Maxwell Harrison, an outstanding explosive corner out of Kentucky. I know the Minnesota Vikings went out and got a couple veteran defensive linemen. I think they're going to double down. I think they're going to try and fortify that. They want a deep rotation there with Coach Flores. They go get Derek Harmon out of Oregon, who lived in the backfield the entire year for the Ducks. At pick 25, when I talk to folks at Alabama about Tyler Booker, they say he's the offensive Will Anderson from a leadership standpoint. DeMeco Ryans went to Alabama, and oh, by the way, the guy I compared him to happens to play for the Houston Texans. They want to upgrade the culture of that offensive line room. Tyler Booker gets that accomplished there for the Houston Texans. The Rams at 26. This is another one where it could be a trade-up. I don't know that Omari Hampton from North Carolina, the running back, gets there. I could see them trying to move up for him a little bit. But I love this fit. And you say, well, Kyren Williams has all this production. Why would you do that? Last year, Kyren Williams had one run of 30-plus yards. Saquon Barkley had 10 in the regular season and 3 more in the postseason. They are hunting the Eagles, and they want somebody that can give some of those explosive plays running behind a very good offensive line that they just simply have lacked.
And if he goes to the Los Angeles Rams, he goes to a place that's dedicated to getting that done, because Sean McVay, for all of his offensive wizardry, he wants to run the football. His wide receivers have to block. And you give him Omari and Hampton. Oh, my goodness. Now those explosive plays start to pile up. And we're looking at a big-time back. And guess what? That allows Sean McVay to call every play in his arsenal, because he can alternate between Hampton and Kyren Williams.
And the Rams love to draft running backs. They've done so in 7 straight drafts. So you never really know what round it's going to happen in, but it's definitely going to happen. You guys mentioned Saquon Barkley. Let's talk about what Philly is going to do coming up next on the show. Does DJ think lightning strikes for, like, I don't know, a 5th time in Philly? Find out who the champs are taking in his mock draft next.
There you go.
Not really big into committing to things.
3, when Hall of Famer John Hanna was the highest drafted offensive line.
I think this is a bad fit. But as far as edge goes, I mean, I personally, if I'm them, I would grab G. Campbell over him, just because he's a plug-and-play guy. But Stewart, I don't know. Stewart's a rough one for me, man, because I do think that he's going to be awesome. I think, actually, looking at this guy looks more like a Colt, like a player the Colts would like. The Colts like this kind of player, so I don't think Stewart will be picked there. I think if they pick an edge and one's there, and if he's the real deal and he's moving up in the draft, he might be the one that goes to the Colts.
To the Patriots. And then you have this one, 12 to 20.
That Jackson Dart was interesting, man.
Some surprises in there. Picks 23 through.
They're going safety if they can.
Through 26. You can take a look. We're going to tweet out all 32 picks coming your way in this first round. But DJ, let's go to Baltimore and the Ravens. Who do you like? Defensive player here?
Well, I was in Baltimore when we took Elodie Nada, and big, explosive, powerful guy. And when I watch Kenneth Grant, I do see some similarities to what we saw Elodie Nada when he was coming out of Oregon. So the Ravens love big guys. They always have. You can plug him. He can two-gap against the run. He can push the pocket as a pass rusher. I think there's even more upside in that department as he continues to develop. We get to the Detroit Lions.
I actually think his upside's better than Mason Graham.
They have done a ton of homework on interior
offense.
That's
another guy, Kenneth Grant. They'll be surprised if he goes higher than people think. They'll be surprised because he's got all the talent in the world.
Lineman. I think if Tyler Booker was there, they would turn in the card. He's gone. They stay at the position. They go get Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, who's played guard. He's played tackle.
Yeah,
he's at his best at guard and would plug in and start right away for the Detroit Lions. The Washington Commanders. In this scenario, they get, to me, one of the top 10 to 12 players in the draft.
I don't think he's going to drop
Teams,
that far.
for some reason, punish nickels. Jahdae Barron is an unbelievable football player who's going to start in the slot, take the
Not just that. He's not just a slot player. He played most of his snaps outside. Not just that. I think he can convert to a safety type player in a nickel dime package. You can put him at run support and stick someone else at nickel. I think he's a good scrappy player. He's one of the best football players in this draft. I don't think he's going to drop this far.
Ball away, not miss tackles,
he might be the first
and you can blitz him. But in this scenario, he falls into the Commander's lap. The Buffalo Bills. You got to get better against the pass. You go get a corner and Trey Amos from Ole Miss, who is very long. He can press you. He can play off. He's got outstanding instincts. He's someone, as we've gone through the process, has just passed every single test. He ran much faster than folks expected. The Kansas City Chiefs, I'm calling this the bat draft approach, best available tackle, because this team has lost 2 Super Bowls because of poor tackle play. I know they've invested in the position in free agency. I think they continue to invest in it in the draft with Josh Connerly out of Oregon.
There is a guard. There's a dark horse here. There's a guard. I can't say his name. Out of Arizona. He's a Hawaiian guy. He plays guard, but I think he's one of the rare guys who can be a guard in college and transfer to tackle in the NFL. Don't be surprised if someone like the Chiefs grab him.
Here late in the process, he could go higher than this. And then finally, these are the rules. I don't make them. I'm just here to relay them. The Philadelphia Eagles are entitled to an unbelievable Georgia or Alabama defensive player to fall.
Oh, God.
It's just the rules. That's what it is. Jahad Campbell's my 12th player, and here he is at pick number 32. A little bit dinged up with the shoulder going through this process. That's how he lands down here and how
Jahid Campbell will not. I'm telling you, Jahid Campbell and Jalen Walker are going to go higher than people think. I don't think Jahid Campbell passes the 49ers.
This is Nolan Smith redo.
Somebody fucking shoot me, please, because I was all up. Yeah, God, go look at my other drafts. Everyone I'm all over. I'm sorry, they end up being good. Like I was all over Nolan Smith. Fucking awesome. I mean, just give me those linebackers that are fast, athletic, that can blitz and are relentless. Give me that all day over a fucking skinny fucking little bitch corner receiver whining he's going to retire if you don't give him what he wants.
It's Nolan Smith.
And a fucking quarterback who throws off his back foot and walks in the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles, they continue this trend of drafting defensive players in the first round. This will be the 5th straight year for Howie Roseman. How do you feel now that you've gone through your
he's smart for drafting those guys, but he's got spectacular
I would say confidence level, scale of 1 to 10. I'm at like a 2.7.
That's it.
Wow. You're way
for the most part, it's a great draft. This guy knows his shit. I really like him. He's really likable. I think he does a lot of his homework, That's why I wouldn't respond to his draft. But some of it I've kind of head scratcher. But that Jackson Dart one piqued my interest. I'll tell you that. I will tell you that. His highlights or whatever they just showed, his package was way better than Cam Ward's. Like, not even close. Jackson Dart looks like he might be a little bit of a dark horse as far as his game going to the next level. I think Will Howard's one of those guys that might surprise. I think Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward will struggle. I think Sanders is nothing more than a lifetime backup. And I think Cam Ward will be good eventually, but I don't think he's the first pick. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to maybe try to not live stream, but record my reaction with maybe Badass to the draft. I'll do that and then I'll post that. But anyway, hope you guys have a good one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys on the next one.